I got to say thank you one more time for just being who you are and being so generous in helping other people promote themselves and their books and their poetry and just really giving them this awesome space to express. It really is phenomenal. And if any of you are feeling the urge to do this for the first time, I'm telling you, this environment is the safe, non-judgmental, super good vibe space that you're going to want to try it in. So I know some of you are out there listening are going to be at that event, and I cannot wait to see you there. There's going to be some book talk and poetry and definitely the open mic. So you got to get there and sign up for that. So anything else about that you wanted to mention, Charles?
About the event or just the therapy and expression?
Well, all of it, but I was actually going to ask you to read another poem.
Oh, okay. So I have another one for you.
All right, awesome.
I actually have several. I have my first book here, and the first book will be available at for selection. If you attend the event, it'll come with admission. Um, okay, so we'll talk on this in this poem. We'll talk about a little bit about the relationship that is the backstory to this book. But I'll go if you're ready.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. I understand you not wanting to face me. I hurt you, broke your heart, and untucked the dreams, unbuckled the life that you gleaned, planted in a pot of change to grow only in sun. It wasn't prepared for clouds and rain, you know, doubt, questioning, distrust games. I fought for you in a summer shower. I never even got close to being wet, trying to get home to you drenched in sorrow, soaked in upset. I swam through lies, paddled in hate. I ran through whys, waded in eyes unable to relate. I tried to hurdle the turtle of time, inevitability and fate. You ran out of love as I ran into hate. Revolving door into the store of poor communication. If I ran into you today, your face wouldn't state the nature of or any mistakes. You'd avoid eye contact and agree to save the date. Set the truth down to remove a few plates. That's heavy for you, too much weight. As titled, Lies Take Too Much Exercise.
Mm. I always need to take a pause when I'm listening to you read these poems. They're so awesome. You know, I believe that you have to be feeling something when you write so that the person reading is feeling something, and not all writing is like that, but yours is full of it, and it is amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So have you always been a poet?
I'd like to say so, but I've only seriously been writing for a year.
Okay.
So you know, as a kid, I grew up. You know, I was a hip hop culture kid, and you know, I used to listen to rap music, but I wasn't necessarily a fan of it. And when I would hear them with the metaphors, I always loved the metaphors, and so I would try to write them as a kid, but now I'm not so much of a fan. I write my own metaphors, and sometimes they're pretty good. So I would say that, yeah, maybe I've always been a poet, but I've only seriously been writing a year.
That actually surprises me. I thought you might have said you had some corny love poems as a, high schooler.
Not as a high schooler. Maybe later on in life. Maybe about 10 years ago, I might have sent a few young ladies that I was interested in some corny poems.
You know what? I truly believe there's no corny poem. Like, if you're brave enough to write a poem and actually give it to somebody, there's nothing corny about that.
Yeah, well, well, some poems are intended to be corny or funny.
True.
Or hilarious. So, you know, they exist.
So, you guys, if you just joined us, make sure that you are going afterward and finding Charles at lovepainandpoetry.com or lovepainandpoetrypublishing.com. And I'm going to ask Charles a little bit about his new publishing business here in a minute. But also Instagram, and that's just Love Pain Poetry, right?
Yep, at Love
Okay.
Pain Poetry.
All right.
Please follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, Twitter, right? All that good stuff.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, cool. So, you talk about writing for 15 minutes a day. So what writing tips in general do you have for people, maybe aside for that one?
So, I talk about the writing for 15 minutes a day because I view mental hygiene as important as oral hygiene. And if you take 15 minutes out of your day to find something to write about, it doesn't necessarily have to be poetry. I prefer it be poetry, and you share it with me so I can enjoy the magic that you're making. However, um, if you just find a tree, write about the tree. Find a situation, write about it, get it out, put it down on paper, so you can reflect on it. I think this helps us work things out in our heads, and it, enables us to see things more clearly when it's on paper. And when we do this, we'll find that situations that we thought were more stressful are not as stressful or are not as serious. And it may even give you insight into if it was another person involved, um, an interaction or, excuse me, insight into what they were thinking or their side of it. And you can also do this on lovepaintingpoetry.com where I have lots of pictures. If you don't have a tree, you're sitting in the office. There's scenery there where you can go and you can write it. Some of the pictures I actually I am the photographer. I took them in Hawaii and I posted them up. So it's I just think that you know mental health awareness starts somewhere, and one way to combat that is to eliminate stress. Writing 15 minutes a day will lower your stress levels, and it'll help over the course of time if you're already doing it. Should you experience a depressive episode like I did last year, um, and I don't have much more to say on it. I Write for Life is a project that I'm working on. I'm trying to build. Eventually, it'll be a nonprofit. However, if you go on if you have an Apple iPhone, you can go on the Apple News channel and you can read some articles that I myself and some friends have written about writing for life. And it's Write for Life on Apple News. Just search; it'll pop right up. Um, yeah.
Nice. I
So
didn't know about that piece. I mean, I feel like writing, journaling has saved me. I've been writing since I was 15 and definitely have some really good corny love poems in those journals. But um, what you talk about,
okay, I
writing for
am.
life, it feels like survival to me. And I do that daily. The best homework I ever got was when someone told me to write every day, no matter if I thought I had something to talk about or not. And I love your idea of using a picture as a prompt. And really, life is full of prompts. They're all around you. All you have to do
Right.
is look, and hear and taste and touch, and you have about a bazillion prompts in front of you to write about. So it's funny I really think there is no such thing as writer's block. Writer's block is just a mind problem, because there's so many things that you can sit down and write about, and people get stuck on it has to be important or good or whatever. But this is just writing for yourself. This is just writing to heal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And who knows? You may stumble on a great poem. I mean, I do it all the time.
Oh, for
And some
sure.
you never know. That 15 minutes, you may write a masterpiece.
Definitely,
And
that's happened to me.
yeah, and
Hmm.
you got a pretty decent spoken word piece that you've been doing lately.
Which one
Yeah.
is
And
that?
uh the
Which one
one you
did you
probably
like?
the one you can't read on air, I'm certain.
Ah,
But
yeah, most of mine are like that.
yeah, see. But it's expression. You're taking back something.
Yeah.
You are taking back something. Um
Yeah, and for a lot of, I'm going to talk about women for a minute, and I want you to
Hey,
tell me
hey, no
what.
problem. Hey, can I tell you a secret? Can I tell
What?
you a secret?
Yeah, go for it.
All of my favorite poets are women.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean, a lot of us grew up in, and we had a childhood where we were meant to be seen and not heard. We didn't have a voice. We learned to keep quiet. We learned that expressing ourselves would get us in trouble. We learned that expressing ourselves meant that we were bad. So you have a lot of us showing up to your open mic night who are literally transforming in front of the crowd in the moment that you've given us the venue to express ourselves for the first time, maybe out loud to other people, and also express some pretty raw, vulnerable feelings. So I kind of want to know, it's got to be more than me that has come up to you after and said, "Oh my God, Charles, that was actually really healing for me." Talk to me about that.
Okay, so I have a lot of people come up to me and talk about that, and it is the most rewarding feeling. Better than any poem I've written, better than um, anything I've accomplished. To help someone else, it is so rewarding. I mean, I can't even put it into words. But I can give you a story of the why. So this program I was in, which was an intensive outpatient program, and it was kind of scary because I had a depressive episode. I was in this program with people who had mental illnesses, and and I say that to separate the the two. What I went experience was treatable for the most part, and maybe close to curable. I don't want to. I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to say either way. But um, in this group, there were there were women who had PTSD, but not from these weren't battle wounds. This was rape related PTSD, and one of the things I think that poetry is able to do, it allows them to take back some of who they are that was taken from them. So when we talk about women in poetry, the voices to me they resonate, and it is so powerful because I'm unable to. I can't. I can empathize, but I'm not a woman, so I can't speak to or walk in a woman's shoes. But when I hear it in poetry, whether it's on the page or on the stage, it's just it warms me. And I don't know why. I haven't really thought about it. But the poets that I read consistently, and I go through their books more than once, they're usually women. Um, yeah, I don't know. I, I can't explain to you. And the people that come up to me after the show, um, 90% of them are women. I have had two gentlemen come up to me um, after an event, but it wasn't my event. Um,
Mm.
they were interested in an open mic because they heard the theme, and they said, "I appreciate what you're doing. It's great. I'm going through X. How can I reach out with you?" And I gave them my contact info. But it feels good talking about it right now. To be honest, I have a smile on my face that I'm trying to hide.
Uh-huh. You shouldn't hide it. You know, it's funny. You're making me think too that so the therapy of expression is one thing for a woman, and it is a totally other, equally as important thing for a man. And so, yeah, I'm happy to say that you've had the men come up to you too and just be interested in what you're doing because honestly, Charles, it takes some balls to write the kind of poetry that you write and express it in these ways and maybe I don't know, you tell me, maybe not be bullied like
Um,
into thinking you are I don't know what, you know?
so I'll say this. I have a friend. He does a lot of editing for me, and he said he has never seen a male um, express poems in the way. He's never seen a man express poems the way I do them in the spaces that I do them in, because I do them in those spaces that you would think someone is going